What's up, you guys, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I guess that's my regular thing.
That's
what if today I wasn't doing good?
You say
what if I was
pretty bad?
Yeah.
Then I'm doing pretty bad, guys.
What?
Shit, I don't even know. It's gray
That's
outside. It's cold outside.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. Everybody keeps sneezing around me. It's probably because it's springtime. Something's got me ticked off, guys. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Something's got, not for reals, but for the sake of this podcast, yes.
Yeah, I get you.
What about you guys? How are you guys doing? Anything new in the lives? So, do you want to be here, bro? She's like yawning, sneezing.
It's the Catholic school. Do you remember when they tell us that? Am I boring you?
Am I boring you?
Oh my god, bro.
I know for you they hit you hard because when you yawn, you make an audible yawn.
I'm 9 years old, bro, and it's 7 in the morning. What do you want me to do?
I'm hoping they're miserable right now.
Ooh,
Those teachers.
those teachers.
They're probably dead, bro.
All right. No, yeah. Isn't there am I sounding like one of those flunkouts who's like they don't even teach us taxes in school? Isn't there a study that kids aren't receptive to learning until like 10 in the morning?
Shit, I don't even know. I've never heard of that.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah. And then
really? So if I look this up right now, it's some bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking. Do I sound?
No, I feel like I have heard of that.
Let's see. What is it? Kids,
something about their brains aren't ready to learn till like 10 o'clock, but most schools start at like 8 or 7.
Oh, 10 o'clock.
Something like that.
I think I heard something like that actually.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's it say?
Starting school later, such as 10 a.m., has been suggested to benefit teenagers by aligning with their natural sleep cycles, which can improve academic performances and overall health.
Yeah.
It says teenagers.
Yeah.
You see?
It says teenagers. Kids for sure, but teenagers specifically.
Are they not kids?
They are kids. But I'm just saying, when I think of kids, I think of like not teenagers.
I can imagine if it's teenagers too, it's probably even worse for kids. They probably have to start like at 2.
True.
Yeah. Poor kids, man.
Stevie.
All right, my fault. Damn.
I hate it when they would tell us that. Am I boring you?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, bro. It wasn't even like that. I was just like, bro.
It wasn't even like that.
I got up at 7. I'm 9 years old. Why are you getting mad at me, bro? Like, can't yawn? Goddamn. God forbid a kid be tired.
I have like a super solid memory of being a kid and having to go to soccer practice or a soccer game as a kid and having to put on my fucking like those. Yeah, the cleats and the knee guards and shit. Or the shin guards. My bad. The knee guards. The shin guards and the long-ass socks. And I don't know why I have such a potent memory of that shit. Because I was so tired and I did not want to go. It was like probably like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Stevie napped on the field one time.
You napped on the field one time?
One time I was so tired during an active game. I just, in the middle of the field, just went down.
Started sleeping,
started taking a nap.
Real?
Yeah. My mom loves that story. Loves to embarrass me.
Were they like, am I boring you?
Yeah, well, I guess I was bored. I guess I was bored because I just straight up just took it.
They would say that all the time. Am I boring you? I'm sorry. Am I boring you? Condescending. Yeah, that's not going to get you into college.
I remember that one. That's not going to get you into college. You know, that school that we went to really hyped up college as if it was going to be like this super hard shit. Or like,
not hard.
If anything, they were way cooler than you guys were. You guys were assholes to us.
I had high school classes harder than most college classes. I really did.
I feel like they really made middle school feel like high school and college were gonna be the hardest things ever.
Yeah.
They always made it seem like, oh, we're miserable here, we're gonna be miserable over there even more.
I know, right? That's why I was so scared of going to fucking like high school and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, it's just gonna be nothing but work. And literally, my teacher
I
being
feel like they were projecting. I feel like all the stuff that they would say about like public schools and whatever was just the reality of Catholic school, where they're like, oh, kids are mean in other schools. I'm like, kids are fucking mean in Catholic school. Kids are meaner in Catholic school than they were in public school.
Sometimes I feel like they were just projecting because school was hard for them because they were dumb. That's the only reason I feel like
they were dumb.
Because I feel like for them, like, you're teaching fucking middle school, like, and you don't know how to teach shit.
Yeah, that's
I was
true.
like, you had a hard time.
Yeah.
In
You're
high
like,
school
that's
and
why your
college.
ass is in here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because genuinely, them teaching horrible.
Yeah.
Like horrible all the fucking time.
Just get mad at you if you didn't understand.
Yeah, and I'm like, bitch, you're the one who's not even teaching right.
Dude,
Like,
I don't like I always bring it up, but I always wonder like the reality of other schools. Is it normal? Are teachers supposed to like yell at you? Like, do
Yeah,
they?
in the comments, you guys have been active in the comments recently. Let us know. Did you guys have like complete fucking assholes as
Teachers?
As teachers? Because we're not even exaggerating. If anything, we're under
Understand,
exaggerating. Like every single day, every fucking teacher was super
As I get
pissed.
older, I think about how like teachers would yell at kids, and I don't mean like raise their voice and like speak firmly. I mean like scream at them. I'd be like,
Like, do you remember, Julie, we would walk past school when we had already graduated because we lived across from the school. We would somehow come home from like watching a movie or going to go eat, and we could hear one of the teachers still screaming at the kids.
I remember she would trigger me. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I feel like I'm back there.
Yeah.
No, 'cause
Julie would
like-
start sweating.
because
And
like
shit.
in retrospect, if I had a kid and I heard the teacher talking to my kid like that, I'd have a serious problem with that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why are you yelling at my kid, man? What the fuck? But at the time, I was like, I guess they just yell at you, bro.
I guess this is what all adults are. It made K&D. Did you guys ever watch Kids Next Door or any of
Yeah.
those like kid cartoons? It made them feel even more relevant because I'm like, yeah, I do hate adults.
Dude, I remember one time the first grade teacher. Well, this was first grade. She gave the entire class detention for 2 months. For 2 months.
What?
Yeah.
So you guys had to stay after school or what?
No, because it was such a ridiculous like request. She made us do it during recess. So for 2 months we couldn't play, we
Damn.
couldn't do anything. We just had to sit there. And I remember being like, damn, I guess
No,
this is just
I
Bro, that's
I
so
rem-
sad.
I remember for us, it was, I forgot what it was, but we all got in trouble for some shit.
yeah.
Wasn't even like, I wasn't even involved, but because it's like the whole entire class
Yeah.
gets like punishment, right?
Yeah.
We were reading this book, and she told us that we had to basically write out the whole entire book.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember
all
they
of
would
it.
make us write
and then we had to, but we had to do it 5 times. And
Bruh,
I remember that was the only time that I was at home and I started crying, and my parents were like,
just don't do it.
what's wrong? And then I was just like, she's making us write this whole entire book, and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna complete it by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then parents were like, just don't do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
If they say anything, we'll go tell her
Yeah.
that we told you not to do it.
Honestly, it's crazy because I thought the teachers were mean, but do you remember for some reason the teachers loved my class.
Yeah.
So mainly it was because of that one homie. I won't say his name. That one homie, like all the teachers loved him. So by association, they were all really close. I mean, they were all really nice to my class.
Yeah.
But I do remember your class a little bit. I remember, but specifically your class,
Yeah.
you guys were getting like comically like
Punished.
tortured
Well,
punishments.
I never understood the whole like punish the whole class for one kid. Because I'm like, all right, first of all, it's unfair. But I'm like, what's the end goal? Do you want us to like bully the kid
Yeah.
into like behaving better?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want us to? I don't know. I always found that kind of stupid
Yeah,
because I'm like, you want us to do your job for you and
Mhm.
teach this kid how to act right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a kid, bro.
It was weird because it was also too like in 5th grade. I remember there was a girl who didn't know her multiplications.
Yeah.
So whatever subject you're supposed to learn in 5th grade about math, we couldn't like advance because the girl didn't know multiplications.
Yeah.
So then instead what we would do is that every single time we had math, it would just be multiplications.
Yeah.
Like that's all we did. So then when I went into the next following grades, I didn't know how to do it because I was like, bro, they didn't teach us. All they taught us was multiplications. And I'm like, I think we were supposed to learn that like on 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
And I was like, but because of her, like, because they were like, oh, because she doesn't know, all of you guys are going to have to relearn multiplications.
Yeah.
That's all we did for the rest of the year.
Yeah, which also is bullshit because I'm like, why don't you put that kid aside and give him the help that they need instead of
like get him a tutor.
yeah.
Help him out. Instead of you're punishing the whole entire class and making all of them fall behind.
And I'm talking about the school in general too, because I'm like, Catholic school is paid, so you guys have fucking money. Like
Yeah.
the church has money, bro. Like stop acting like oh please give us money. You have money, bro. You can hire a tutor. You can help people. And you can do some shit.
You see, that's why we're in the classroom right now, guys. We're healing that part of ourselves.
Yeah.
We're learning at our own pace.
I just found a lot of the teachers. I also hated how they talked to us like we were stupid, or
Yeah.
like how like we had no understanding of what they're doing. I still feel a lot of the same way. Like
Yeah.
I still feel like now as an adult, Like, you were tripping, like, and you're weird for how you treated some of the kids.
I feel like elementary and middle school were like the worst times, because I feel like high school and college got better. Like, at least me personally, like I feel like high school wasn't that bad. So I feel like high school and college kind of healed me from like elementary and like middle school. It for sure made me hate them a lot more once I like was like in high school and college. Because I was like,
to have a normal teacher finally.
Yeah, because I was like, bro, they're so nice. They're so helpful. Like,
understanding, actually teach you shit.
Yeah, like they actually teach you like shit makes sense when you learn it. Like that's what I'm like, bro. They were stupid. Like they didn't know how to teach. Like they were just miserable in their own lives that they had to bring misery to the kids.
Yeah, you know what else is sad about specifically the school that we went to is because right now I'm looking at the class and this is more like what the kindergarten class looked like. I remember it was kind of soul crushing that I remember for kindergarten, not only was everything more colorful, the teacher was also like the only nice teacher in there. And then on the third thing, they would let you play in the grass field. But then as soon as you went to first grade, no more. And literally, we were there till 8th grade.
Play in the parking lot.
Play in the parking lot.
It was the parking lot.
It was just concrete.
The parking lot.
And people would eat shit.
Crack
Kids would like,
open.
yeah. Because I have this scar because that happened to me.
That it was like fucking crumbled. I remember that shit was like nasty as fuck.
That's if
not until they got money, when they kind of renovated it, where they finally made it like flat and like.
I think it's bullshit. I think they had money. I feel like there's no way every student there has to pay a tuition and you.
I remember the priest would pull up in nice ass cars.
Everybody was saying that the at least the principal and the priest at the time would all just use that money for themselves. Yeah. Like they wouldn't use it towards the school. And it wasn't until they got a new principal and then there was the new priest, which like the priest still had a shit ton of money. But I think they eventually got donations from like the Pope or some shit. And then that's when they like renovated.
The Pope?
That's when they repainted everything. They painted, because that school looked trash for a good while. Yeah. Like I remember, because like we all went there, even our older brother went there. So like I remember that school. Yeah, he went. He started, tell you that? He started there though during I think 5th or 6th grade. Though. Yeah, like he wasn't there from kindergarten. He started. He started there like later on.
He knew life on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, like when he was there and when I was there, that school was trash. Like it was bad. The paint was fucking like faded. The ground was like nasty. Like it was really, really bad. Which is why like everybody said that the principal was mostly taking the money, and so was the priest. Yeah. And so then it wasn't until later when they got the new like principal, and then supposedly because I think we had a whole mass thanking like the fucking priest, the Pope or whatever, for like donating to us.
It was like the archdiocese or some shit.
Or like some shit. I don't know what the fuck he was.
Some bullshit like that. Yeah, I remember.
I don't know what he was, but he was some guy who had a shit ton of money that donated. Which is that's when they like repainted everything and all that stuff.
I just remember like not at the time understanding it, but as an adult being like they just hated us having fun. Like, do you remember we had computer lab? And I forgot what it was. I remember everybody loved computer lab. Like it was like the video games where we play on the computers. And I remember the computer lab teacher's name, and I forgot what it was, but I remember he brought like a DS or some shit like that, something, and he let one of the kids play on it, and they fired his ass for that. Damn. And we never had computer lab ever again. And I remember being like, why?
I do remember that.
I remember as a kid being like, why? Like, genuinely, why? Because I don't even think he was playing a bad game. I think it was just like all the computers were full and he could run it on this, whatever the fuck it was.
The conspiracy is that it's because he let us have fun.
Yeah, he let us have fun. Or, dude, I remember for like 3 years, we didn't get recess. They wouldn't let us play in PE. Mm-hmm. We'd just be sitting there. Like, they'd be like, you guys just don't want to act right, so your punishment is you get to not.
I'm telling you, they would literally get, like, comically evil fucking, like, torture punishments. I remember.
Yeah, I remember for, like, a year straight, we didn't get to do anything in PE. Like, kids would want to play dodgeball, And I don't even remember the rationale of it, but they're like, since you want to talk, your punishment is you get no PE. Like, so you're just going to sit here and pray or some shit and no PE. And then I remember also being annoyed because I'm like, this is a grade. How are you grading us? Because then people would get grades and be like, oh, like they didn't try in PE. I'm like, what do you mean didn't try? You didn't even let us play. Yeah. Same thing with music. In music class, we had choir, but it wasn't like by class. The whole school would congregate into the mass and we'd all sing. And the teacher didn't even know our names. He'd call us up and be like, what's your name? And he would also give us a grade conveniently. And I'd be like, he doesn't even know our fucking names. How does he grade us? Like,
he famously turned his son into the police. I'll never get that.
I remember people being like, oh, he just feels the vibes of your singing.
Yeah. That was beyond your time. I don't think you were there anymore when that guy was teaching. I remember that guy.
Oh, my God. I just hated that.
Bro, honestly,
He turned his son into a cop?
No, he turned his son into the police. Oh. As in, like, his son was under the influence. His son was drunk, and I think he was underage, and he called the police on him.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that justice? I feel like I would have just handled that, like, as his father.
Instead of calling the police.
I don't know about fucking calling the police on him.
There was another one, no?
Ooh.
Are you guys talking about the same one?
There's like 5 music teachers, which weren't even music teachers. We would just sing in church. So I don't really understand.
Was it the one that had like his nails done?
Yeah,
okay.
Him.
That one called
Yeah.
I thought it was that his son was like a drug addict and he like basically.
I'm sure that's what it sounded like to us as kids.
I don't know. To me, it was that he was a drug addict and like he called the cops on his son.
You know what I think is weird?
I swear it was just that he was drunk.
I think it's weird that they made us go to confession. In retrospect, and hear me out. Because I don't know, there's some people are religious, whatever. The reason I think is weird is because all the kids would be crying. Like there would be a lot of kids crying, being like, "I'm a bad person. Like I did this to my mom," and I'd be like,
and all they did was
they'd just be
they
kids.
Played DS.
They just lied.
No, they'd be crying like in church.
They just
and
lied.
I remember the teachers being like, "Yeah, you better be crying." And in retrospect, I'm like,
the devil's on you.
Well, in retrospect, I'm like, you just made a bunch of kids feel like they were horrible people.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, no?
If you guys are a new viewer, the easiest way I can kind of describe where we went to middle school and elementary is if any of you have ever seen Matilda, the school that they go to, the vibes were very similar, and then on top of that, Miss Trenchbull,
she was real.
She was basically real. Our fucking principal.
Dude, I remember in
she was real.
I think I've told this story before. I went to high school, like one semester of Catholic high school. Also weird. I remember they would make us confess, and one time, this guy in class that I confessed with was like, "Yo, I confessed to the priest that I watched porn," and the priest asked him what kind, and made him list out all the categories that he watched. And so I was like, "Isn't that a little weird?"
I remember, you know how I know that story's not bullshit? Because you told me when it happened, like literally the day it happened.
Yeah, and I remember at the time being like, "That's kind of weird that he asked you that." No. It's kind of weird that he was like, "Oh yeah, like what kind do you watch?"
Categories.
Categories.
Because I remember we were making this joke of like, "Damn, that priest was really into it." He was like, "Oh, for how long?"
Really? Like me personally, I like this one. I thought that
my
was
favorite
weird.
category.
I thought that was weird, but maybe I'm.
That's gross.
Right? That's weird. No,
that's gross.
There was one principal that was. I mean, one priest that was cool.
Yeah.
Father, can I say his name? Do you think it's cool?
So. Maybe he'd get mad.
Father Blank.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's the guy. He's the priest who would always buy ice cream for all of us.
He was the only. He was the only one with the heart.
He had glasses.
Glasses.
Did they all have glasses?
No, he had glasses.
I remember also one year we had art class.
Was he Latino?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I didn't like him. He was weird. He gave me weird vibes.
Really?
Really?
I thought he was cool.
He was cool in the beginning until he was like besties with the principal, and I was like, I don't like him anymore.
You hated the principal, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't like your parents or someone know him personally, or no? Or am I tripping?
Was he the one that was accused of being gay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so what it was is one of the workers, I think they found him stealing.
Yeah. And then he accused.
And he was like, "Nah, you don't care. You're just gay and you're hiding it."
Yeah.
And that's why you fired me. And he was like,
"No, I was about to say his name.
But he goes around saying that the reason they fired him is because he caught the priest
being gay.
Yeah.
And so that's why they fired him.
Yeah. And he wasn't stealing. He was smoking weed.
I remember they had the video, and I remember seeing the video. him doing that in the church.
Smoking?
Yeah, because I remember around the time they had video because they thought. Do you remember we had the Stations of the Cross, and one of them fell and they showed it to us? Do you guys remember that? You don't remember that, huh?
Like vaguely.
There was one time one of the Stations of the Cross fell, and people thought that somebody went in and vandalized it, but they were like, no, it just fell, and they showed the video. And I remember around that time, also seeing the video of him being smoke. I remember it as him stealing something. Maybe that's Mandela.
I swear it was him smoking weed.
I don't know, but I remember there was a video of it, and then he was like, because I remember I met the guy and I would talk to him because remember they had this like after school thing.
Yeah,
he was always
and
there.
he was kind of like
he was always there. And in retrospect, I'm like, I kind of see that he's kind of like that. Because they were all like reformed people or whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%. He seemed the type. Yeah. I wasn't like shocked.
I was in the article.
Yeah, you were in the article.
I was in the article about him. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? I remember. He was kind of like a community guy. I wonder what he's up to. This is just me to say. I wonder what he's up to because I remember he was a community guy. I would see him around the neighborhood. Yeah. And he was not like in a great shape, and that must have been like more than 10 years ago. So I wonder where he's at now.
I don't know.
Because he started breathing with the oxygen mask.
He was cool with me.
Kyler's cool.
Yeah, I thought he was cool too.
He was cool.
I thought he was cool. I just think at the time and even now, people were like weed. Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah. But do you think because my parents? I remember talking to my parents about this because they knew. Because I think didn't like they tell like everybody or did it just spread?
Controversy.
Yeah,
right?
and
controversy.
My parents said that it's bullshit that he said about how that gay.
Bro, come on.
Censor that.
He always does that.
I know.
Sorry.
He's always name dropping locations, people's names.
People don't know who that is. No?
I think a lot of people know who he
is. Yeah, a lot of people do know.
So should we just
I think he's gotten around.
I'll just cut that part out. I'll just cut the part where you say
what part are we coming back to?
No, I mean I'll just cut the part where you say his name.
So you said what? That he's
I
gay?
just said that our parents said that him being gay is just a lie.
Yeah.
It's just a lie just because he got fired.
I remember people saying. I swear I have a video, memory of seeing a video of him doing that, and people who work there being like, "Nah, yeah, he did that."
Who, the father?
No. The guy smoking or stealing, whatever the fuck he did. I don't know.
No, he did. No, he for sure was either smoking or stealing, whatever he got him fired.
Yeah.
But the whole rumor that he started of like, they really fired him because he found out that the priest was gay. People say that shit's bullshit. He just said that because he's mad that he got fired.
I agree. I think so too, but I don't know.
Who knows?
I think.
Do you guys have good gaydar?
I sort of believe it, but
I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it that he is.
I see it a little bit.
Maybe, but I think in general, I just think
you don't want to believe it.
If he is, he is. I think to me, it sounds like the whole like, oh, Michelle Obama's trans. I'm like, okay, if it is, what's the conspiracy?
No, I get
like
you.
To me, I'm like, he's gay. What does that mean? Like, who gives? I don't give a shit. Like,
I think they give a lot more because of the fact that it's like
he's a priest. Yeah.
To me, I'm just like, he's gay. I
don't
care.
Yeah. It's kind of like I watched
because then he left.
I watched a documentary about Ashley Maddison a couple of days ago. Have you ever heard of Ashley Maddison?
No.
Ashley Maddison was a site beyond our time. It was when we were probably like kids. It was this dating site where it was specifically for people who were married to have an affair and cheat on their partner.
Holy shit.
So it was all confidential. Like you signed up, they make it super secret, and you would just a lot of married men would sign up to the website to try and meet women to try and then have an affair. They had at their peak, I think they had something like 40 million users. Bro, yeah.
40 million?
Yeah.
Bro, just divorce your wife.
Isn't that crazy? I think that's the documentary. I thought that was so insane. 40 million people signed onto a website to cheat on their partner. That's crazy. Married.
Just divorce your wife.
Anyways. But there was this one account of this guy who he was a pastor, a third generation pastor, which means that his father was a pastor and his father was a pastor. And his father before him, a pastor. Yeah. A pastor. My pastor. So he was a pastor, his father was a pastor, and his grandpa was a pastor. And then when they got so basically what happened with the website, they famously had one of the biggest hack jobs in North American history. Someone, who knows how, released all the information of all their users. Maybe that rings a bell.
Yeah.
Released all the information of all their users.
What time of when was this? Like
mid 2000s, I think.
I was probably too young to
maybe late 2000s actually, until early 2010s, somewhere around that time. We for sure we were kids, obviously, so
yeah. And then because the school got rid of computer lab, I was screwed, dude. I was so
Bruh. Circling back to that.
Go ahead, bro.
Dude, I was
mad.
bro, they got rid of
That was
computer
good.
lab.
That was good.
I couldn't be online and shit. I was like, damn.
But this is all I say that the pastor guy was revealed that he was on that website that he had signed on, and so he got fired from his job. And that's basically what I want to bring up. I mean, if you want more information, ended up.
Was it ethical? Like, were the people on the site like consenting adults?
Yeah, they were consenting adults, just people who wanted to cheat on
Then
them.
I don't give a shit that the pastor was on there. Like, I feel like the pastor shouldn't have been fired. Free the pastor.
Free the pastor? He shouldn't
I
have
don't
been
care.
fired?
For what?
Well,
I don't care.
Well, I guess because people were like, he's like a pastor. It's supposed to be about
he
marriage
just
and
just
adultery.
confessed. What about
He
what if he was sorry?
He sinned.
What if he was sorry and confessed?
He killed himself. Yeah, he killed himself. Yeah, he killed
That's
himself.
crazy.
When he
bro.
got fired, he went home and he parked his car in the garage and he turned it on.
That's
He killed
crazy.
himself.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's a crazy documentary.
It's a documentary?
Yeah, it's a documentary. It's a
Never heard of this.
Yeah, it's called Ashley Maddison. I vaguely remember.
So the
it.
site was called Ashley Maddison?
Yeah, it was called Ashley Madison. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
That's crazy.
It was just a dating site. But it was kind of interesting because it plays on the morality fact of like cheating, I guess, and a site like this because the people who ran it were all monogamous non-cheaters. Yeah. So
I feel like with the because the priests say that they're married to God, right? The nuns say that at least.
Yeah,
they wear a ring that Jesus is their partner.
Yeah, I would also see priests wear them too.
Yeah, that they're married to God or some shit like that.
Would you be like gay?
I don't know about that. I think, but I think, I don't know. I guess because I'm not.
Because would they explode? Would they be like, nope?
I get like if you want to say like if you want to talk about the morality of like married people getting on there, yeah, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that to your wife
but it's more the creation of those sites.
But the priest, like specifically the priest, I feel like I feel sad that he
the pastor, because pastors can get married. He had a wife.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have taken his own life. But
yeah,
I was under the impression that he was just
he's a pastor.
Yeah, pastor can have.
He's not a priest.
I thought he was just a priest.
No. He's a pastor. Pastors can
never
get married
understood
and stuff.
the difference because there was priest, there was deacon, there was pastor, and there was all.
Yeah, because I mean, how he was like, I was like third generation pastor. Do you think he was just immaculate conception?
No, I thought
they adopted each other.
No, I thought he was like he was just this priest looking for love or some shit.
Oh, he was like a man.
I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
He was just like, I mean, if they're down to sleep with married men, maybe they'd be down to sleep with a priest.
Yeah. You know what's another note that was interesting about that documentary? I know we're going on like a huge tangent and just as cold open, but the hacker group so they called themselves Team Impact. Yeah. And they were hacker groups. So what they did is that they hacked into Ashley Maddison, the website. So if you were to pull up the website, it read this message that said that Ashley Maddison is like a terrible website that it says something about like gives like abusers their drug or something, saying that like they're this unethical website that takes advantage of addicts and gives them their fix while also extorting them and using them for fraud. And so I just bring it up because I'm like, bro, how come like they don't do this for like the government or some shit? Like I get it. Like it's I think on paper it's like the biggest like hack job in North America.
Really?
Yeah, because it released the personal information of 40 million people.
Damn.
It released their locations, names, credit card purchases, and in the documentary they go over that people would literally create then websites to where you can just look up to see if somebody was on that list that got leaked.
Oh, shit.
And it would literally show everything like messages, credit cards, addresses.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm gonna look up when this took place.
And fucking all I could think about was like, man, but anonymous would just be like, man, Trump sucks.
You know what's crazy? I think they speak of the devil, they released something last night. Anonymous about the Russia, something like that. They hacked Russia or some shit.
Oh, look, so yeah, you see, like it launched in 2002 and the breach was in 2015.
Oh, 2015?
Yeah.
I was 14. That's still young.
and no computer lab. You had just gotten into high school.
Yeah.
We
had iPads.
Yeah.
What a shock. No computer lab, then just iPads.
Yeah.
iPads everywhere.
Yeah, but
iPads and Chromebooks.
Speaking of technology,
Coming.
there was something that happened in the news. I haven't kept up to date with it, honestly, but I have seen a lot of outrage against it. They sent celebrities into space, right?
Katy Perry, Gayle King, that's her name,
Mm-hmm.
and amongst a few others.
And then Jeff Bezos'
Bezos' wife, or fiance.
Fiance, because
whatever the fuck her name is.
His wife divorced him and took all the money and donated it.
Good.
She didn't get enough. She should have got more.
Yeah.
She only got like $1 billion, and he's like worth like $50 billion.
Did she only? I thought she got exactly half. No,
No, right?
am I tripping? I thought she got exactly half, and she donated most of it. Let me see.
That's cool of her.
That is really cool of her.
That's cool of her.
What's his name? Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Bezos.
Preston Bezos.
Divorce. How much money?
How much? How much was
did
divorce?
she get?
Well, his company is called Blue Origin, right?
Yeah, some shit like that.
And they sent them into space.
Yeah. It said, okay, in the divorce settlement, Mackenzie Scott received approximately $38.3 billion in Amazon stock, which included a 4% stake in the company. Jeff Bezos kept 75% of the couple's Amazon shares and retained control of all voting rights. So she got 25%, not 50. Yeah.
She should have got 75%.
She should get, yeah. She got 100%.
She got it all.
75% though is not bad. But I do remember, and let me fact check
no,
that.
Because don't they say that she's the one who helped them out to like build the company?
Yeah.
I think so. She donated most of the money, though, I think.
Right? Right? Let me just
Yeah.
fact check that because I don't want to.
And she's a teacher now, right?
Is she?
Don't- If she is, don't be mean to your kids, please.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it all circles back. She's donated $17 billion to charitable organizations since 2019, and she got what she said. This is something like 30, 38. So,
So
like
far she's
2/3
done it,
basically.
I remember seeing she said her goal is to get rid of all of it eventually, which is cool.
Oh, like just in December of last year, she revealed another $2 billion that she had just donated.
Cool. That's
So,
cool.
She'd
Keep
be
going.
donating.
To what though?
Let me see. To Trump? Imagine. It says.
No way.
She's at 360 nonprofits, 360 nonprofits.
You know what she should do? What she could do? She could buy a bunch of the gold cards and give them to immigrants.
True, but isn't it? Aren't the gold cards like $1 million?
$5 million.
I guess.
but $1 billion's a lot.
Yeah, I guess it a billion. Oh, true. I'd be like, man, it sucks that it'll only come out to like a few hundred. You know?
Will it?
Yeah, I mean, because $1 billion. Let's say she has. Well, unless she uses all the money
she
that's
uses
left,
all of it.
be like 10,000 maybe 10,000 gold cards.
But anyways, going to the
yeah. I haven't kept up with it much. I know people are shitting on them like crazy. What's the context? Do you guys know?
Everybody's shitting on Katy Perry.
well, no, okay, so Blue Origin, I guess they took a visit into space, and Katy Perry, a bunch of other celebrities. I think a few ex-NASA workers went too. They went up for 11 minutes, came back down, and it was this whole big deal. But I think people were upset because people say that it's tone deaf considering the times right now, that they're kind of flaunting their money,
Yeah.
specifically more aimed towards Katy Perry because she came down kissing the ground and they were only up there for like 10 minutes.
They were actually only up there for like 3.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much love in my heart." And people were saying that, like, she says there's so much love in my heart for the world, and we need to protect the earth. And everybody's like, we already felt that way, you know. So there's that.
Like you didn't have that realization.
People also dislike that they're kind of making it about like it was this big feminist statement, but people say it's inauthentic and tone deaf because it isn't this big feminist statement.
Yeah.
You know, because recently, do you remember when the astronauts were stuck in space?
Yeah, for
And-
like a few months. No?
Yeah, and all they would talk about was the astronaut's appearance. So her name was Sunita Williams, right? And she actually is an astronaut, like a genuine astronaut who was stuck up to space. And most of the stories were about her appearance,
Yeah.
about how she had gray hair, or people would say she was unattractive.
Yeah.
And it was this big deal about her appearance and not that she accomplished being in space and that she withstood being in space for all these extra months. But then they come with these celebrities and they're expecting like, oh, see, nobody's ever done this. Or no women have ever done this.
Yeah.
Considering there was just a woman in space, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess that makes sense. How do you
Yeah,
guys
and
feel about it?
Well, I guess the other part of it too is that people are saying like, oh, they're trying to create it into being this like historic thing, when like actual people who work for NASA, women who work specifically for NASA, are currently being erased because of the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Like all their, because of
the
the whole diversity and all that stuff that he's challenging, that NASA has actually started to comply with what Trump is saying of deleting everything that says first women and all these things. And so they're like, it's very just like weird to like celebrate because it's like, but yet the Trump administration is doing all these things.
And Jeff Bezos was at the inauguration.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so my thoughts on it were, at first I didn't give a shit. Like I was like, who cares? Because I was like, it's just celebrities wanting attention.
Which celebrities doing rich people shit.
But what made me a little like, man, shut up, was when Gayle King, she did an interview being like, I'm offended that people would say this. And it wasn't all that. The only thing that really bothered me with what she said was she started saying that Jeff Bezos was this hero, that he's trying to make the world a better place, and that Blue Origin is cleaning up the environment and shit like that. And I was like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, Jeff Bezos is not this good guy. He abuses all his workers. Amazon has horrible working conditions. All of billionaires and all these companies are the reason that the world is, the climate is changing. So to me, I'm like, what are you celebrating? He's just wiping his own ass at the end of it. Like, you know?
Yeah. Like, Jeff Bezos, he cares about those employees that he pays like fucking 2 cents an hour.
Yeah, right? And so to me, that's what annoyed me, was she was like, he's this amazing guy doing revolutionary things. And I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He isn't. I promise you he isn't. And then people were talking about how they lied to, I forgot what it was, where that they said that the rocket had zero emissions, that it was only water vapor. But then I saw scientists say that that's not true. Whenever a combustion that hot happens, it turns something into nitrogen, and that's not supposed to be in the ozone layer where they were. A lot of the stuff that they were introducing into the ozone layer is not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So they just lied. And they were making it seem like it was this big like climate environmentalist thing, when in reality it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Olivia Munn, it's called The Gluttonous.
Yeah.
Said that there are so many other things that are so important in the world right now. What are you guys doing up there in space?
I liked what Emrata said. I'm not going to lie.
What did she say?
I sent you the video. Can you get the quote of what she said?
Sure.
She's a model, right? Supermodel?
I think so.
Yeah. She dated Eric Andre. I remember that.
I don't know who that is.
You said Emrata?
Yeah. I can just get her video. Let's see.
Emrata? How do you spell
Emrata? She was just saying that privilege is not an achievement. And it was all these people celebrating their privilege in the face of everybody struggling. Because it was another thing where Gayle King was like, have y'all ever been to space? And everybody was like, nobody can afford to.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. And the same thing with Katy Perry being like, everybody should try it. It's like, bro, people can't even afford eggs. What do you mean telling people to, you know what I mean?
They both were the one who kissed the ground. Like Katy Perry did it, and then Gayle King also did it. And I think that was the cringiest thing ever in my life.
Yeah.
Also, when she kept showing the fucking flower, that shit was fucking annoying.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly,
you just find her. You can just also, it don't even got to be that deep. You can just find her annoying.
She was generally annoying me because I just feel like she makes, and sure, like, I can understand that going to space can, like, alter your reality or whatever. Like, understandable. But I just feel like you were only there for, like, 2 minutes. Like, and then it's the fact that when they're interviewing her and they call her an astronaut, I'm like, bitch, she never got trained. She didn't go to school for this. There's people who genuinely are educated, spend their money, like, spend hours studying and doing all these things to be able to be astronauts. And this bitch just fucking paid money just to go up to space. And all of a sudden she's an astronaut. I feel like that's bullshit. Because I feel like at least there was at least 2 people who worked for NASA and actually studied this, right? And I feel like they're getting no like attention. Especially one of them, I think she's the first Vietnamese woman to go to space. And it's like she actually, like, for her, she's actually made some sort of impact, at least with society, because she's also an SA like victim. And like for her, she went to school, like she went to Harvard, she studied, and then she went through, you know, her like thing that she went through. And then she stopped going and she started like speaking up for like civil rights against like women who get SA'd, right? Mm-hmm. And so then for her, she had to change her whole direction about like becoming an astronaut and started focusing on like the more civil rights of it, right? Yeah. And so then for her, like sure, like there was some sort of accomplishment with that, but like nobody really is like caring for that of like how she was able to do all that stuff. And I just feel like I just feel like it's just like bullshit that like these other women are like getting the attention. Yeah. And I think it's also hard because it's like you want to you sure want to celebrate these women, but it's just hard that it's backed up through Jeff Bezos.
Well, it's just well, I'm reading the comments of Rada's video, and someone said that it's interesting how it's being marketed as empowering women, yet actual women who deserve praise are being fired from NASA. Yeah, you know, I go back to the astronaut who's stuck in space, like an actual astronaut who I think that's Sunita Williams. I think that's actually a really incredible story that she was able to withstand being in space for that long. And you can look up the headlines. All the headlines were that about her appearance. Yeah,
Well, that's the other thing that makes me mad about it too, because they genuinely, like, you could see interviews that they do that they genuinely cared more about how they were gonna look up there. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put the ass in astronaut." Yeah. Like they genuinely cared about what they were gonna wear, how they were gonna look, and I think that's like, that's not progress. Like none of that is progress. Like I feel like making history and being historic as a woman and making some sort of impact is that you're gonna progress, you know, women's history. And I think you going, especially being a fucking billionaire, like you're not doing shit for society. You're not doing anything for women. There is nobody that should be looking up to you right now. Yeah.
It's just fucking annoying, I guess. Like the way you're explaining it, I guess the more I'm coming to kind of understand it, it's annoying because it does feel like they're paying to kind of pretend to be these historic figures that are pushing progress forward, but all they're really doing is just flexing their money. Yeah. Not only just flexing their money, but also like just a disgusting amount of wealth that, like, at least in America right now, feels so disheartening and feels so discouraging, because it's like, how can someone have so much and when millions of people have so little? And it's not even like an envious thing. It's more of like, that's just so the inequality and the injustice is disgusting.
And people were saying, they were like, they paid a shit ton of money to go up there. Why couldn't you just donate it to actual people who are caring about the environment? Yeah.
Like, why couldn't the money they spent could have been...
It's vanity. Yeah, like,
it's
vanity.
You could have legit just used it for something else rather than actually putting a hole into the ozone layer and like affecting everything.
It seemed like a publicity stunt. Like I said, I mostly just did not like what Gayle King said. Because to me, I'm just like, bro, shut up about... I just hate when people jerk off fucking billionaires, bro.
It's just rich people liking rich people.
I hated how she was like, he's such a great guy. But all these... Because isn't she a reporter? Yeah. Hasn't she reported on all the Amazon worker human rights worker violations that they've had, where they pay them 2 cents? Do you remember, like, what was it, like 5 months ago, when there was a tornado in an Amazon factory and they made the employees stay in there during the tornado?
Yeah. I think the way it happens is, I think that when somebody does something bad, obviously you call them out, they get defensive, and then that's when people's like true values kind of come out. And so even though she has reported it, I bet you on the low she's like, yeah, but he's rich like me, so like we're kind of on the same side.
Oh yeah, because she's pretty huge, so I can assume that.
Also,
she just has a lot of money.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. My apologies, Julie. I also found just the quote. Yeah, the Emrana. I didn't even mean to. It just happened to be here. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
She said that she was calling it beyond parody. She specifically said, "You say that you care about Mother Earth and it's about Mother Earth, and you go up in a spaceship that is built and paid for by a company that is single-handedly destroying the planet."
Yeah.
And then she went on to say, "Look at the state of the world and think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted."
I saw a lot of people also just did not like Katy Perry. I haven't heard of Katy Perry since just because she hasn't really dropped any music, has she? And I saw I didn't know how strongly the internet felt about Katy Perry. I didn't know she was so controversial. I just didn't know.
Yeah, I think she's, because I think currently she came out with an album, and she tries to make it seem like it's this feminist movement, but it's completely the opposite.
And it flopped.
It flopped, and like, but it's very much catering to the male gaze. Like it's very much like she says it's feminist, but it's very overly like sexualized and like it's completely the opposite of what she's trying to do basically. Yeah. Like she's and so basically people, that was the first controversy as for, like recently of what I've heard about her, because I think it was all over Twitter at the time when I had it. It was all over Twitter and everybody was like mad about it because they were like, she keeps speaking on how like she wants to be for women and all these things and like, you know, go against the patriarchy, but yet she's making a whole music video that caters towards men. Yeah. And so then this kind of falls in the same category because how they said like how they were trying to be glam and like they were saying that Katy Perry's first like worry was how she was gonna look. And so then people are just like, how is this a feminist movement if you guys are still trying to sexualize, you know, like being an astronaut? Yeah. Like, you guys are trying to make it look hot and like, you know, like sexy and all these things. But yet it's supposed to be a feminist movement. Like that shouldn't matter. What should matter is that you guys, you know, are going to space and like studying something to actually progress society. And that's why people are like angered. And that's why for me, it does seem very like bullshit because I'm just like, you guys did nothing. And you guys are acting like you guys did like this whole like big thing and like it's like people should be so like thankful and like all these things. And I think it's also just like so annoying that like she's like everybody should try it, but it's just like you guys paid a shit ton of money and not so everybody deaf,
How much
and
like cost?
I think it said their initial they had to pay $150K to just even like book the flight, and then and you mean like entirely like added everything like together
to be an astronaut or a passenger on that ride? What's the price?
Let's see. How much do spaceships like this cost?
But yeah. But it for me it also just felt like, you know how it's always talked about that because of the way the Earth is going, that people are going to try to leave Earth to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. It just feels in that same vein of like they're trying to try out like people who are actually going to leave and go to space so that they can leave this one and all. And it seems like, of course, the only people who are going to be able to leave are the rich people. Yeah. Because like they're the only ones who can afford all these things to be passengers in these ships, right? Wealth.
Distribution.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't find the price because it says that they're actually being secrecy around it. But there is apparently Blue Origin has a competitor called Virgin Galactic, and they seem to offer rides anywhere between $200,000 to $450,000, basically $500,000.
Jesus Christ.
So with that in mind, it's probably somewhere within that range, a couple $100,000, which means no average American will ever be able to afford that. Yeah. And just kind of touching more on what you were saying, because I think a lot of what you're saying is so true. I think that it feels so disrespectful because it's pretentious and it's full of vanity. They're cosplaying as historical figures, basically. Yeah. And they're making it seem as like, I can't believe the majority of the masses isn't like groveling at our feet that we made such this huge accomplishment for women. It feels so disrespectful because really that only happened because you have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that also just makes me mad is because it's like how we said, like they're making it seem like it's like they're trying to cover up everything that's currently going on. Like what we said, people are being fired from their jobs, from actual NASA and all these things. They're being erased. And it's just like, but you guys want to pretend that actually no, like it's an all women crew that just went into space. Of course they're not erasing us. Like we were able to go, right? And it just feels like you guys are basically just discrediting everything else and making it seem like, no, we are progressing. Like, we are doing good. Like, the Trump administration is doing nothing. Like, we're not being affected. Like, we are able to go to space. Like, women are still able to go to space. But it's like, no, like, the only reason you're able to go is because you have money. Yeah. Like, that's the only reason, like, you can supposedly go off the barrier that is currently going on. Mm-hmm. Is because you have money and you're able to do it. And, like, one of the girls is going to get married to Jeff Bezos. And that's the only reason you guys got invited. Yeah. Like, because you guys are just friends with another billionaire that you guys were able to go.
Yeah, honestly, like for me, I only really have a problem with those three: Katy Perry, Gayle King, and then Jeff Bezos' fiance. The other ones were NASA workers. I feel like they earned their spot. But those three. Oh my god, I really can't stand the whole like Jeff Bezos is a hero, like he's this awesome guy, who I don't know. They make it sound like he single handedly was like doing the math on what the rocket ship flight was gonna be.
I guess on brand with what we were talking about earlier, it's as if you did a group project with somebody and somebody didn't do any work. Literally, like all they did was show up and said like, "This is my project," even though they didn't add anything. And then once you guys get that A, they're like, "Wow, I'm just so smart," and like it just comes to me so easy.
All me.
Like I know it's such a good project, right? I did so good. Like everybody, I can't believe how much everybody likes it. Like, but then everybody's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You didn't do shit." And then,
how can you say that?
How can you say that? This is literally my project. I guess that's how I can compare.
Yeah, I also saw Gayle King in her interview. She's like, some of my friends who I thought were my friends are saying like people I've interviewed. I'm assuming
a voice of reasons are telling me that I'm wrong.
Yeah,
like I just can't believe it.
Because I think Oprah said that it was awesome or some shit too. Because I think she's best friends with Gayle King.
Isn't she like in some controversy or some shit?
Oprah?
Didn't she like steal money or something?
Oprah?
I remember one time we mentioned Oprah, and people in the comments were saying that she had like some controversy. Yeah,
we mentioned Oprah.
She probably didn't pay taxes or some shit.
I do not remember ever mentioning Oprah.
Yeah, we mentioned it was like a episode like from a year ago. It was when we mentioned a quote that she said.
Let me Google Oprah.
We mentioned a quote that she said. It was like more than a year ago now.
Oprah controversy.
What should be like? It's because she's part of the lizard society of serpents. No.
The later show, Winfrey was promoting junk science. I mean, I do know that she's the one who put Dr. Oz on, and now he works for the government.
I don't know, but I just know that people were saying some shit about that. That Oprah did some shit. I mean, I don't know if I'm like repeating some right wing propaganda. Let me see. I'll look
just be rich, bro.
She's probably just rich. She's a billionaire.
just like rich.
You can always default to that. If they're a billionaire, they probably did some shit.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's true.
Yeah, billionaires. You can only be a billionaire by exploiting somebody. So
yeah,
right.
I'm gonna look up steals money just to see. I swear it was something to do with money. Jason Momoa accuses Oprah and The Rock of stealing money from the poor.
Jason Momoa said that?
I guess.
But yeah, that's mostly all I had to say about the little space journey they did.
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing though. And it's also just very tone deaf. Fucking rich people, dude. I feel like now more than ever, I think somebody was comparing that space trip to how at the time I think the Great Depression was happening and people were like, rich people were going on Titanic and stuff. That's not a fair comparison.
I just didn't hear that.
When I kept watching the videos of Katy Perry being like, I'm so connected to love or whatever, and like everybody should be able to do it or whatever, it kept reminding me of when she's like, she was basically saying like she wanted world peace or whatever. And it kept reminding me of Us. I think that's the movie, Us, where when they did that one, when they mentioned about how they did that thing where they were going to hold hands together so that they can end, what was it that they were trying to end, like the world
hunger or something? No. Do you know Hands Across America?
Yes.
What were
was it homelessness?
World peace, some shit like that.
Let's see. Hands.
It was trying to like end something or like.
It was a real thing too. Hands Across America. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hands Across America was a public fundraising event on May 25th, 1986, where people held hands to form a continual human chain across the United States, aiming to raise money for hunger and homelessness. You guys are right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it felt like in sort of that same vein of like they're trying to like, because she was saying how like this is giving me that we should be more caring about Mother Earth kind of thing. And it's like, how are you not caring about it in the first place? Like, it just seemed like she was throwing it in our face that, like, we should be the ones to take on more responsibility about caring about the earth.
People like them.
When it's
that's so annoying,
like
dude.
when it's people like them, specifically, especially, like, Jeff Bezos, who's in charge of Amazon, that creates so much trash, where it's like, you guys are the ones who are creating this, but yet we're the ones who are supposed to be in charge of that.
Because I think Gayle King says that one of the projects that Blue Origin is looking into is putting trash in space. Like throwing it in space. I was like, but Amazon produces all the trash, bro. You're hyping up for wiping his own ass, bro.
Throw all that trash into the sun, right? Why into space? Why even throw trash into space?
I don't know. It's
I guess
a bad
that's
idea.
It's probably just humans like shit. What else can we do?
It's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
But
Seems like
it
it'd
just
be a bad
seemed
idea.
like very pointless for her to be saying that.
Rich people be having the dumbest fucking ideas.
Yeah. I didn't even know this was happening. Has this been being hyped up for a while?
I didn't know either. I didn't even know they were in space until like they landed.
Remember when I saw Katy Perry, I was like, the Katy Perry? Like Roar Katy Perry?
I thought it was Yeah, I didn't even know that they had gone to space. And then I think what was even more was that I didn't even know it was Jeff Bezos' company.
Yeah.
And
I did not know it was.
And then
either.
that's when I was like, this shit is fucking unknown.
Well, because there you go. Gail Kim saying that Jeff Bezos is awesome. Katy Perry was on his trip, so she seems to be awesome. Right now, I didn't fact check it, but somebody mentioned it in passing while I was doing research that Katy Perry endorsed Elon Musk.
Oh, brother.
So it's not looking good for her.
Rich people just love rich people, bro.
I'm telling you, rich people just love rich people. Rich people. I mean, in anything, I guess communities defend their own community, right? So rich people are gonna defend rich people.
Yeah, that's.
So why can't we do that for ourselves?
I don't know.
When
are we gonna stop doing this?
Class consciousness.
I don't know. Are we approaching? I don't think so.
I think they hope that we don't.
I think it's just hard because I think we're always getting fed that mentality of like people want to get rich. So I think it just creates us more into dividing because people are like, no,
the rich people are your community. One day you're gonna be rich like them.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
Dude, you know what I remember one time? The comment just blew my mind. I remember one time we talked about Elon Musk and like the propaganda that people believe that they're gonna be billionaires one day, and somebody commented, "It's people like y'all who want to keep me in the gutter." And I don't know, it just blew my mind because I was like, you think we're the ones?
The average person is trying to keep you.
I feel like to me, I was just
over
like,
the billionaires.
If you're in, as you said, in the gutter, and you think the reason you're there is because some 20-year-olds online are talking about that they don't like Elon Musk, I feel like that's not the reason you're there, buddy. No?
Yeah, no.
I hate that propaganda. I hate that stupid.
I just think that's an insane comment for us to be like, you're never gonna be rich and these billionaires don't give a fuck about you. To be like, this is why y'all trying to keep me in the gutter. Dude, the billionaires want to keep you in the gutter so they can abuse you and use you to work forever. And that's just the truth, man. That's just how business works. Yeah, like I always think the easiest example is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Like so many so many stories of him being an insanely evil, comically evil, exploitative fucking asshole abuser, and he's like friends with Trump full-heartedly, Jeff Bezos full-heartedly. I was like, bro, they exploit you. That's how you become a successful businessman. Is you become an asshole. Yeah. So how can you ever think that the average person like us is what's keeping you down
in the gutter? It's also that word, the gutter. But anyways,
moving on to a little bit more of a serious topic. I mean, this one was necessarily, I guess, not unserious, but more serious because it pertains to our community and it pertains to something that's actively going on. When this episode releases, we'll see, I guess, more updates. It's an ongoing story, so we're setting the information as we're learning them. Forgive us if anything is more or less, I guess, revealed.
Yeah.
But basically, as you guys have heard, a Salvadorian man is been taken to the maximum security prison in El Salvador, and the president and his administration have refused to bring him back, even though he was wrongfully deported. The court or even ordered, the judicial branch ordered for his return.
The Supreme Court ordered that the United States facilitate his return.
And Trump was like, nah.
Well, they're kind of saying like, oh, we asked El Salvador and they said nah. So what do you want us to do? So that's what that's
basically their story.
Yeah. Well, to give this man his name, it's Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They accused him of being part of an MS-13 gang, which is why they deported him, I guess. The supposed evidence that they have on him is very, very, what's the word? What would you even call it? I would argue it's not even evidence. They said that, I think in one ruling they said that they assumed he was part of the MS-13 gang because he was wearing a Bulls hat and a it was the hoodie, right, that had the president's like the eyes covered and stuff like that. And so I guess they were saying that this "hear no evil, speak no evil" thing is like a MS-13 thing, supposedly. And then, but I've seen a lot of people, especially on the news, make it a big deal that he was wearing a Bulls hat.
Yeah.
I've never heard that the Bulls are associated with the MS-13 gang. As an NBA fan, I would argue that the Bulls are probably one of the most mainstream teams you can follow.
I wonder what the actual team thinks of that. Have they said anything about it?
Nah, come on. No, I don't know. I think it's scary. I think a lot of the things are scary. I think it's scary that they're deporting people out of the country and putting them into prisons.
Yeah.
He had a green card. He was a green card holder, so he was here legally. I just think it's scary.
So I looked into it of like why is it that people associate the Bulls logo? They say that the MS-13 uses the Bulls because the horns are a substitute for the devil horns.
Yeah,
that's the biggest. It's also saying that it's been disputed. Obviously, like
huge reach.
Yeah, it is a huge reach because I agree with you as a basketball watcher and at times maybe even a casual. The Bulls is like one of the most popular teams in the United States. Yeah. Michael Jordan, you could argue the greatest athlete to ever play in the NBA. I know the LeBron stands are going crazy, but you could argue the greatest and most famous basketball player to ever exist was part of the Bulls and won them. Like, of course, people are gonna rep that merch, especially if you're in Chicago. Well, he got arrested in Maryland, right?
Yeah, but I feel like if you're on that side of the country, Bulls or Celtics.
Yeah,
Bulls or Celtics, very mainstream teams to follow. So I don't understand that aspect of it.
Do you want? Should I? If you all allow me, will I read the official kind of summarization for those who haven't been out there and might want to be educated? Kilmore Armando Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident and father, was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in early 2025 by immigration authorities, despite having protected status. Upon arrival, he was imprisoned in El Salvador's High Security Terrorism Confinement Center, CECOT, I think maybe that's what they call it. Sidebar, if you guys haven't looked into that prison, you should. It's insane that they would keep anybody in there, period. I understand why the need for it to be built was built, but I think especially if you're an immigrant whose only law that you've broken is wanting a better life for your family, it's insane to be put in a maximum security prison. But anyways, back to the story. Even though he had not been charged with any crime in either country, just like 70% of the immigrants that are being kept there, this action sparked widespread legal and political controversy in the United States. The Trump administration defended deportation, alleging that Garcia was affiliated with the MS-13 gang and had a history of domestic violence. However, these claims were contested by his wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, who clarified that a previous protective order was sought out of caution and that the couple had since reconciled and undergone counseling. The incident drew significant attention from U.S. lawmakers. Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland traveled to El Salvador to advocate for Garcia's release, while Representative Adriano and other members of Congress called for accountability and transparency regarding the deportation. The Congressional Hispanic Caucus also demanded his return. Public outcry included protests from labor unions, notably the International Association of Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers, SMART, to which Garcia belonged. Media figures like Jon Stewart criticized the administration's actions, and legal experts labeled the deportation as a clear violation of due process. In response to the controversy, a federal judge in Maryland ordered the U.S. government to facilitate Garcia's return. However, El Salvador's president, Nayib, how do you pronounce his last name? Bukal?
Yeah, you don't have to pronounce it right. Fuck that guy.
Responded dismissively, indicating reluctant to cooperate. As of mid-April 2025, Garcia remains incarcerated in El Salvador with ongoing efforts by U.S. officials and advocates to secure his release.
I think it's scary. I feel like for me,
it is scary.
Well, I think it's scary a lot of things because I think for one, they're calling him a terrorist. Mm-hmm. They're calling him like this huge criminal. Like, because to me that seems dehumanizing. It is dehumanizing because to me you're not referring to him as a man. You're referring to him as a terrorist, as a something not human, right? Monster. I mean, Trump even said that they're not really people. Like they deserve to be there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how atrocities in history really start to happen because you're dehumanizing them, and that's scary. You know, I saw that the leaked footage where he's like, next is the homegrowns. You got to build more prisons so we can send the homegrowns there.
I think that's crazy.
I think it's crazy. he's defying the Supreme Court. Even though he packed the Supreme Court too, it's a conservative ass Supreme Court, and they unanimously voted that they facilitate his return, and he's said no basically. I think that's scary. The last time a president defied the Supreme Court was Andrew Jackson, and that led to the Trail of Tears, which 60,000 Native Americans died because of that. Terrifying stuff. Yeah, I think it's scary, man.
I heard it was also crazy because like the fact that the Supreme Court like all came into agreement, that's also very rare to like happen, where they all collectively like agree on one thing.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times in like the years, but I've heard that it hasn't happened that frequent. But I guess it is like horrible in the fact that they do call him like a terrorist, because even the president like from El Salvador was like, oh, like I'm not gonna, when they asked him like, oh, to bring him back because he's like innocent, he's like, I'm not gonna bring a terrorist back, like I'm not gonna muggle somebody into the United States, like that's not what I do.
Yeah,
And I think that's like horrible to like say that, especially like in the fact that they admitted that he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
There's like no criminal record really of him doing anything horrible.
Yeah, because I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, that's just evidence to show that it doesn't really matter if people are here legally. All they really do hate is immigrants. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with whether or not people are here legally or if whether or not they're good or bad people. The administration just doesn't want immigrants, period. It just will easily associate and demonize anybody who is like brown or an immigrant to be an enemy of the state.
I also think that like if they supposedly have all this evidence that he's this bad person, give him due process, put him on trial, like how he's supposed to have. Yeah. You know, like give him a trial, give him a fair trial. If you really have all this evidence, supposedly that he's an MS-13 gang member or that all these things, why don't you put him on trial? Because they don't have any evidence, and any evidence that's relevant or really means anything, that isn't a huge reach,
or don't have the ability to bring him back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll try lightly because I mean, you and me were already speaking on this before. And some people, this isn't like a breaking news revelation that we're having on the show. I'm sure you guys have seen this kind of talked about, but there is a fear that perhaps maybe he is no longer alive, which would be insane. I don't even know what would be next if that were to be the case.
I don't know.
What would be next? Like what exactly would be the reaction to the administration or his followers?
I think it's just, a lot of people have been saying like that's probably his most fascist move yet. Pretty fascist move of him to do. And I agree with a lot of people who say that, or I resonate with a lot of people who say like, I knew he was going to be fascist, but I didn't know he was going to do it this fast. Like that, no, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to the Supreme Court. Like, that's crazy. Also, I want to correct something I said. I misspoke. It was 60,000 Native Americans forced to relocate, and it was 6,000 that died, Cherokee that died during the relocation. Scary, man. Scary stuff.
Yeah, because and then in that interview where he's talking to the president of El Salvador, we kind of brushed by it, but I think it's important to kind of, apply more attention to, where he says, like, next is the homegrowns. Bro, that should be an immediate red flag. Like, that should immediately outrage, like, our community. That should immediately outrage just Americans in general. Like, the homegrowns. I mean, I'm really trying to, like, not because I like Trump, but I'm trying to see, like, what would be the quote-unquote rebuttal of, like, oh, when he said homegrowns, he means, like,
well,
what the fuck does that mean? Like, criminals?
Well, he's saying, I think what's scary to me is that, like, he's saying, like, homegrown criminals, right? But this is a case where they did it to somebody who isn't a criminal. Yeah. And people are, and I've seen, first of all, he was here legally, right? Mm-hmm. But even then, like, people who are here illegally, supposedly, it's a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense to be in the United States undocumented. So already,
and it's not a violent crime.
It's not a violent crime. So it's
maximum security prison. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So that's crazy. Scary shit, man.
Yeah, because I guess I interpreted homegrowns as, I mean, I thought of criminals, but I also interpreted, does he mean like homegrowns as in like homegrown people of like Latin Americans, like first generation?
I mean, probably, but I think he said it in an interview before where he goes in depth of what he means by homegrown or homegrown criminals, like criminals from here. So he's talking about like he wants to get rid of people, kind of like what El Salvador did,
Mm-hmm.
where they just locked everybody up.
Yeah.
He wants to do that and just send them there.
But it's crazy still, even then, because criminals, I mean, obviously they're criminals, but they're citizens. So to deport citizens, it's like a slippery slope. What's next? Just deporting citizens for any other offense?
No, for sure. But like I said, it's also a slippery slope because it's like, this is a person who committed no crime, right? Yeah. And he sent them there. So I'm like, it's very obvious that they have no problem sending somebody who committed no crime and just lying about it and calling them a terrorist and all these things. So does that mean they're going to ship off people who really just commit no crime? Mm-hmm. Is it people who criticize him? Because didn't you see he also recently signed a law to investigate people who criticize him?
No, I did not.
Yeah, you can fact check me on that. But I think he signed something where he sent, I don't remember, but that's what I think about is is that's what's next. Mm-hmm. They dehumanize and they talk about immigrants so much like they're horrible people. Yeah. He said that they're not humans, they're animals, all these things. So I'm like, that's what my mind goes is like, is he just gonna try and send everybody there, like into a maximum security prison? That scares me a lot. You know.
I think the scariest part is the fact that they are deporting innocent people. Yeah. That like, so like how you said, like his goal is to send people who are actual criminals, but it's like at this point they're just sending anybody, and at that point, like I think the thing that frustrates me a lot is the fact that they still say that he's a terrorist, like, and just to make it seem like he's such a horrible person that he doesn't deserve to come back. Yeah. But knowing that that's all still false, like knowing that like what they did is wrong and that to them, like how they said it was accidental, right? And I think for them to still like stand on that statement of being like, no, he's still a terrorist that doesn't deserve to come back. And I think to me that's just the most like annoying part, because it's just like if they start doing this to more people, they're just gonna frame them in the same vein of like they're just terrorists and they don't deserve to come back. Yeah. And I just feel like it is scary because it's like at this point they can just take anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that is what is fearful for me, is that it seems like he's playing by no rules, and when there's no rules, then what can you even do? Like, if you didn't break the law, you're not a criminal. You're here legally, and he just wants you gone. He's not playing by the rules, so you can't really do anything. He has so much power, easily can just take you to a different place. Yeah. Nothing ever happens, and then nobody ever hears from you again.
Well, yeah, because I've seen a lot of people talk about that now we're in a constitutional crisis, which I agree, you know. But I think it's, like you said, it's like there's no rules now. Like, maybe there hasn't ever been, and he's just the first person to be so blatantly, like, taking advantage of that. I don't know. It
just also sucks that even the president is in compliance to him. Like
the Salvadorian one?
Yeah, the Salvadorian one. That he's even, like, in compliance to that. Because I feel like you hear a little bit about, at least specifically Mexico, you know, and how she's very much like, no, like, what they're doing is wrong.
She doesn't fuck with Trump.
And she doesn't fuck with him, right? And in at least for me personally, that kind of gives me some sort of relief of, like, for us, right? But then for every other community, for what they're going through, I just feel like it, like, really breaks my heart that they're going that's who their person is, like, not standing up for them or protecting them, you know? And I think that's just so, like, sad that they're kind of dealing with two people at this point. It's like, you know, the president of the United States and then the president of El Salvador. And it's just like, I don't know. It was just so annoying watching that video where he just kept calling him a terrorist, and he was just like, I'm not going to be the one to muggle him back.
Yeah, he said he's going to smuggle him into the U.S.
Yeah, I just feel like that was just so, like, I don't know. Hurtful. It was so disappointing.
Yeah, I feel for his wife and his family. Yeah. Especially because the speaker, she was saying, like, oh, his family will never see him again. Yeah. Like, it's almost like they're taunting like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
No, I feel for his wife, because I think that there is a very big amount of people saying that there's a good chance that he has maybe been killed. Murdered is a better word to use. And I think that's why I tread lightly, because I don't want that to be the case.
I also think that that's, like, so, I don't even know what the word is, in the fact that
Evil?
the spokeswoman, yeah, I guess evil in the fact of like her saying that the family's never gonna see him, when if it is true that he's dead, right, and they know that the fact that he's dead, and for her to say that, I think that's so cruel for her to say that to the family and be like that you guys are never gonna see him, because in fact he's actually dead. Like, you guys are just not gonna see him anymore.
I think for me, I'm more like, where's everybody else at? Like, in the sense of well, because obviously the Supreme Court, it is the Supreme Court, right? I'm not mistaken.
Judicial branch.
Yeah. They said that they should facilitate his return.
Yeah.
And to me, I've always been like, well, the Supreme Court is supposed to be like a checks and balances, right?
Yeah.
And the checks are not balancing the everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just like, so he can just really do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Like, no one else is gonna say anything. Like, and I know like people are saying things like us, and like there's people even in government supposedly saying things. But to me, I don't know. Maybe it's a lack of understanding. But to me, I'm like, how come he gets to do whatever he wants? So, because obviously, if he can, then you guys are enabling him. Because that's another thing to me too, is like the fact if he's gonna get away with this, I really, really hope he doesn't. But if he does get away with this, it feels like it's enabling him. Yeah. To be like, well, I mean, I got away with that. What else can I get away with?
That's
like,
true. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, I also just think it makes me so mad that in the fact that the spokeswoman again, she said like, oh, these people are terrorists, right? They're part of this gang that like rapes and like violates women and children. And it's like, you guys are helping a president who got convicted by all these allegations, that were true, that he's sexually assaulted women. But you guys all support him. But like this guy who like is part of this gang, you guys are like going like, so hard for him, against him, that calling him a terrorist. I was like, there's a fucking terrorist in the White House. The way that you guys are describing this guy who's part of this gang member is the same guy that you guys right now are like running for. Like to me, that just doesn't like add up. Like, why don't you hold him accountable in the same way that you're trying to hold this other guy accountable? That's innocent. That didn't even do it.
Because it's not about immigration. I'm telling you, it's because they hate brown people. It's just racism. Like, it's like, I'm telling you, like, it has nothing to do whether or not people come here legally. It has nothing to do whether they break the law or not. It has everything to do with what they look like on the exterior.
For sure. But I think that it's just
no, I get it. I'm just saying
it adds to the frustration and the annoyance, because like you see people be like, there wouldn't be a problem with immigrants if they just did it the right way. And there's a man who did it the right way, right? And they just send him to a maximum security prison. You know what I mean? They talk about how like, oh well, so because I know people are gonna talk about it, about how like, oh, the judge or whatever, this was the piece of evidence. All right, so if you're gonna talk about how like, respect the courts, or like what the judges say or whatever, and he's a felon or he's a criminal, and that means something. Like you said, there's a criminal found civilly liable. He's a felon. He's a convicted felon. 34 counts. And so how come it doesn't mean anything to him, but it means everything to this brown immigrant man? And like, you're right. It's just racism and discrimination at this point. And it's so out loud and so unchecked, which is scary.
I think what also bothers me is that the other side of it doesn't really say anything. And what I mean is like the Democratic Party and all those people who are saying that they want to stand up for the people, and like now they're doing their rallies and all these things, like they're not doing or saying or like nothing to the same level of what Trump is doing now. And I just feel like, I don't know, like they're losing me completely. They had already lost me, but now they're just losing me even more of the fact that they're not standing up for anything. Or that's what it feels like, right? That they're not really being outspoken about anything that is currently happening, or they're not trying to, it doesn't seem like they're trying to fight for any change, actually.
Well, I guess to me, I'm also, like I said, I'm confused too, because it's like we learn about how there's supposed to be all these checks and balances, you know, but then you have basically a rogue president just doing whatever the fuck he wants. And to me, I'm like, okay, so then in theory, you can all just do whatever you want then. It's all been a lie that there's all these rigorous like rules that you have to comply to. He's not following them. So why are you guys, you get what I mean? Like, that's what I talked about like last week when I was like, why does it feel like he just gets to do anything and everything he wants, but everybody else has to be like, but there's these processes and shit like that.
We gotta play by the rules.
We gotta play by the rules. But I'm like, but he's not playing by the rules. So what are you gonna do to check that, or like do anything to check that? Like, that's what frustrates me a lot. Is I'm like, that's why I'm like, it feels very enabling.
Yeah.
It feels very like he's just getting away with this and nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of how I brought up how Andrew Jackson was the last president to blatantly ignore the Supreme Court, where he said the Supreme Court, this is his quote, he said the Supreme Court has come to a ruling, let them enforce it. Where
That's crazy.
Where they basically, I think they ruled that the it's called the Indian Relocation Act, I believe, that was unconstitutional. And he basically said, I don't give a shit. Like, and I don't know, that's where I'm like, I'm kind of conflicted, confused of like, so then what means anything then?
Yeah.
If people can just do whatever they want. Has it always been like that? Probably, right?
Yeah.
People can just always, because that's what frustrates me is like, oh, if we could always have done whatever we wanted, what's with all the feeding me these lies of like, we could have done something, but
yeah,
there's rules and processes and can't do shit, man.
Yeah.
But he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. And everybody, I don't know. That's my frustration with it.
No, I get you. And then also just to like fact check what you said about how he signed like an executive order. He specifically signed, it wasn't, I guess, to like everybody. Just what it says that Trump signed an executive order Wednesday targeting 2 former aides who criticized him. So it's specifically on those 2 aides who criticized him. But it's still the same thing you said. Yeah. It's just not for everybody.
But you see what I mean? Yeah. Isn't that scary to have somebody like a president be like, investigate people who are criticizing me?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's scary.
I guess to me, I just don't get why they haven't really like fought against him. Like, for example, the Supreme Court, right? Like, their ruling and all that stuff. Like, why is it that they haven't fully enforced it on him? You know, like, why haven't they fully like enforced what any of them? Like, what are they doing?
Well,
Why is there nothing actually being done to stop?
I guess it's true. One thing that I guess is true is that the president is the most powerful man in the United States. So it's like, what can they do to reinforce it?
He's
the commander in chief.
Like he's responsible for the military. So it's like, that's why people talk about the constitutional crisis and the crisis of
what do you do when a president who holds all the power?
Yeah, what do you do? Like, because genuinely, it's like what Andrew Jackson said. Like, they made a ruling, let them enforce it. How? Like, genuinely, like, I can't think of how the Supreme Court.
He controls the military. He controls the executive orders.
Yeah, I also think maybe I'm wrong. Genuinely, maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like the way that everybody else is acting in government makes me feel like they don't care that much. I feel like, to me, I'm like, you're enabling him. I feel like I'm not hearing a whole lot.
But I wonder why. Like, what do they think would be the benefit of actually supporting?
Maybe they're just all racist on the low, and it's
on act.
Yeah, and well, because the way I see it is they're all bought and paid for. So maybe because he's so about like,
he promised them the promised land of
I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to talk to somebody who has the in-depth knowledge of how government works. To explain to me like what is the next step.
Maybe our next guest we'll get like a real like a political
science professor.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Put us in the comments if you want us to get anybody on. I'd love to. I'd reach out to them.
And then when we get DM'd by some dude who's just like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know that is funny. A lot of people will DM us who like
we get random DMs.
Maybe like 5 followers, which I try not to discriminate on the follower thing, but I'm just like, I don't.
No profile pic.
You have no credentials. Like no profile pic. One post of like your food, and it's like
let me come on the pod.
I know what I'm talking about. Like I don't know.
Get out of here, bro.
Not very convincing.
Yeah,
get out of here, bro.
Like, I know what I'm talking about, bro.
Come on, bro.
Like, get me on there. Like, what?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess to close out this episode and this segment, let's hope that Garcia is alive, and let's hope that he comes home. Let's hope that it all works out. Like our condolences to the family. His condolences wrong to say because I guess like he isn't.
I just support the family. Like I really think that the United States should facilitate his return. I don't really want to subscribe to the idea that people are saying that like, oh, he's passed away or that he's been murdered, just because I just don't want to. Yeah. I don't know the full in-depth what's the word, information of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I just know right now that I believe that what the president is doing is a constitutional crisis. It's wrong. I think it's wrong. He wrongfully deported somebody, an immigrant, for no reason. and I think that's wrong. And so I support the family. I hope that we get some answers of where he is. That they bring him back. But
no, I agree. Yeah, that's really well said, Brandon. But yeah, and everybody keep an eye on it, because I think the more that people keep an eye on it, the more that the government feels pressure to either actually do action, or the restraint to do anything too crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. I think like, I know maybe I misspoke in saying that, like, what do you do to force Trump's hand? He has folded. Like, he's folded when he rolled back some of the tariffs. Like, he's like, obviously, like, they'll fold. They'll fold. Like, please, I don't mean to come off as like, oh, what do we do? No, there's stuff you can do, like civil disobedience, all kinds of things. Please speak out about it. Please inform yourselves about it. Call your representatives, whatever it is you feel like you can do, because they'll fold. They'll fold. But I don't know. Like I said, I just don't feel comfortable enabling this guy to keep doing this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Really well said.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else goes,
that's about what we have for today's episode. Before I send everybody off, let me do a shout out to all of our lovely patrons. Shout out to Yoel, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tot, Stephen Carvajal, Carlo Corazon, and El Tadino Will Rebuild. We really appreciate all of your patronage. If anybody out there wants to support us, or is looking to likes our videos and wants to know how they can contribute, Patreon is a great way to do so. Our link is always in the description. Thank you to everybody for watching this episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.